Okay, hello, hello, hello. Um, July of the 12th, 2016. Welcome to planet Earth. We are rocking and rolling here, my friends. It is absolutely wild. Um, let's see, I'm recording. I'm waiting for people to pop in here, I suppose. Um, I'll just go ahead. Wow, where to begin? Um, it is intense. There we go. Um, So this is Tuesday night, and Bernie supposedly endorsed Hillary today. We'll talk a little bit about that, quite a bit about that. It's not all bad. There's cause for hope there. Hey, there's Stephen. Hi, Stephen. Um, Here's what I want to start off with. There's many things politically, spiritually to talk about there. Yeah, maybe I'll wait a second while people get on. Um, then of course we have. I was away in Dublin for the better part of last week. My heartfelt thanks to Dennis and Julie and Mel, my buddy Dennis Mulcahy and his family up in Dublin. They took great, stellar, first class care of me and made my trip possible. And made coming home possible too. So, 1,000 thanks to Dublin. And I had a great little talk there. I had about a dozen people on Tuesday night at the Lantern Center, and I had my friend Astrid Walsh tell me that her dad is part of the Lantern Center, so maybe I'll go back and do another talk. I'd love to go back to Dublin and do a full workshop and an evening and a day of sessions. So that's on my wish list at the moment. There are people getting on. Great to see you all. Um, we need a little hope, don't we, my friends? We had last week, we had the shooting of actually three different unarmed black men by police, both on and off duty, in Baton Rouge and in Missouri, I think, and in New York City also. I watched on Democracy Now! Anyway, talk about that for a moment there. And then, of course, we had this thing in Dallas happen, 5 police killed and seven others injured. So, race and police and authority and racism and all of that was at the boiling point. And then over the weekend, there were many, many demonstrations around the country. Minnesota, thank you, Rachel. Yeah. And anyway, it just, the pot really boiled over there last week. And for spiritual people and conscious people, we are definitely deeply being challenged. And then we had this little endorsement of Bernie by Hillary today, which I'm working my way into here because there's several things going on. And then, of course, didn't last week we had the FBI say that Hillary wasn't going to get indicted. Okay, here's what I want to read to you right now to start things off. This is from the Hopi Prophecy, and all of this is on my Facebook page. And thanks for following me, and thanks for supporting what I do here. The Hopi say, when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth, from many colors, creeds, and classes, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They shall be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Okay, so of course we know who that is, yeah? And so, I've shared before that I had this awakening, this Kundalini awakening in meditation about 30 years ago. And that demonstrated to me that spirit is real and a part of our life if we allow it to be. And that got me really on this accelerated path of studying with spirit, channeling spirit guides, all these kinds of things. So I learned how to channel, and I will channel here. suppose tonight at some point. Yeah. Um, okay. So, I mean, my guides have said that this summer was going to be a cauldron and crucible, sorry, is the metaphor, and that it would be a time of deeply stirring our emotions and deeply challenging us. There's Dennis. Hey, buddy. And singing your praises earlier, yeah? And thank you again for Dublin. Great time, great trip, great experience. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So Spirit is available for us, but it never intrudes upon us. So the great challenge for all of us as spiritual human beings, is that we need to learn to open our hearts where Spirit lives, basically in the unconscious mind and in the peaceful and loving heart. Because that is the vibration of Spirit. When you have a mystical experience or a spiritual awakening, or you're really inspired or excited or joyous, you're raising your vibration, and that's where your Spirit lives all of the time. When we're fearful or anxious or, in anguish or despair or distraught, which I'd say covers most of us over the last week or so here for one reason or another, or for many good reasons, then the heart closes and our vibration sinks. And the irony is that in the very moments or the very times when we most need to be able to connect to a loving higher power, it appears to be least available to us. We move away from our Spirit, and then often, of course, we move into the ego and into the head, and we try to figure everything out and think everything through and all that kind of thing. So the mind is in service to the heart, and the heart is in service to Spirit. But the mind is the default position of our consciousness. We live in the mind, and that's where we return to over and over again. So I just want to say a brief word here about meditation. Meditation, many people say they struggle with meditation or it's boring, etc. I am a big fan of guided meditations. I listen to Lazarus, to Oren, to Bashar, to Louise Hay, to Doreen Virtue. There's a long list out there, Abraham. There's a long list out there of spirit guides that are well worth knowing about. That every time you want to put your needle on the song of your life, as I like to say these days, they can help you get back to that. And so that meditation quiets the mind, turns down the drama, the struggle, the good, bad, right, and wrong. Yeah. And if we quiet the mind for long enough, not terribly long, a few minutes, a few 30 seconds, a minute, then you start to come back into peace, which is your natural state. When you sleep, etc., etc., you come back to peace. And when you can sustain that peace consciously, this is the paradox, you consciously sustain that peace for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever you do, the longer you're able to sustain that peace, the more available you become to the inspiration, the healing, the clarity of your spirit. Okay. So what's in Conversations with God, God says, go within or go without. So that's a good reminder. Okay. So when people are dying, when people are shooting each other, when hopes and dreams appear to be crumbling before our eyes, that is a very challenging time, and that's what we've been going through. And I have more information about all of that. Yeah, thanks, Rebecca or Rachel. Sorry, don't have my glasses on. Hey, there's Brenda. So my guides say, listen to, trust, and follow your inner guidance. Listen to, trust, and follow your loving heart. Okay, so I want to say here that when crisis happens that we've all been processing in the world, it's kind of like being seasick on a ship on the ocean, on the open ship there. You don't know where your feet are. You don't know how to find your center. You don't know what to do to take care of yourself. And this is often where people really retreat, through alcohol or drugs or just tuning out, cynicism, despair, depression, this kind of thing. All right. If you can manage not to go down any of those roads, and all of that takes work, we've all been there many times. But if you can manage to take that energy in, and work with your spiritual and emotional resources inside, then they can begin to co-create with us and through us what we want our life to be about. So, James Twyman is Stop, Drop, and Pray. He's doing a thing tomorrow, actually, a group meditation, which you can find out about online. All right. So, what I want to say here, we're being deeply challenged, and the greatest challenge is that the world is changing. It's becoming unstable or unpredictable, and people's need for safety or control or status or respect or recognition, all legitimate emotional human needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a good thing to look at. All of those things are churning inside of us. So what I want to work with, I think, here at some point tonight, in the time that we have, is to work with meeting our own needs. And that's a good thing to know how to do and imagine how to do. Yeah. So you just take a second here. We'll do this at the top here. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. I'll just say a little prayer here. Father, Mother, God, indwelling Holy Presence, Lord God Almighty, great and perfect Spirit of love and light. Myself, my higher self, soul and spirit, and the higher self, soul and spirit of everyone here is gathered together as one. There's one power, one presence, one love, one light that is unified in this moment as us and in, through, and as our lives. We bless ourselves. We bless each other. We bless our lives over the last few days, this last week here. We bless everyone who has been seeking greater peace and greater justice and greater love and greater freedom and greater understanding and greater support. We know that we're a clear and open space for that to manifest for ourselves, for each other, for our communities, for our countries, for the world. We take a breath into that. We ask for anything that's in us, consciously or unconsciously, that would hinder or limit or inhibit this prayer, to be released, to be surrendered, to be acknowledged, and to be let go of. We offer it up. We take full responsibility for our choices. We offer it up and we let it go. We take a deep breath. We're willing to forgive and to be forgiven. We're willing to love and to be loved. We're willing to be the instruments of peace and of healing and of change in this world. Father, Mother, God, let us be amazed and humbled at the power and the presence of love in our lives. Let us be amazed and humbled at the power and the presence of love in our lives. Truly, let us be amazed and humbled at the power and the presence of love in our lives. Let us be instruments of this peace. We give heartfelt and sincere thanks for the opportunity to remember once again that all is well for us, that we are eternal spiritual beings, that God's will for us is always only good, and we become the clear and open space for true miracles, for true healing, for true love to come forth, now and forevermore. We let it be. We're grateful and thankful, and so it is. Take a deep breath. Okay. Thank you. All right. So the challenge here, everyone, is, that we live in two worlds at the same time. And that is just going to be more and more true as time goes on. We live in our own inner world, as I was saying earlier, in our own personal subjective world of faith and belief and hopes and dreams and fears and all of that. And then obviously we live in the collective world. All right. So as I say, my teachers, Lazarus and others, yeah, have been saying to us, Dolores Cannon and Bashar and many others, that the world is going to change and that we've come here to be a part of this change. Yeah. And I know that that's true. You know, it's gone beyond faith and trust. I know that it's true. And so what I want to say again is, if you look back at the previous videos that I've done on my Facebook page under the video section, they're all there. If I can figure out how to post them on YouTube, I will gladly do it. But in the previous videos, we've worked with Patricia Cota-Robles and her prayer for divine government, and also her prayer leading up to August 13th through the 20th. And, you know, just to be really conscious, this is a time of great testing about our connection to our spiritual nature. So the good news is, and I just got to experience that grace with Dennis and my few other people there. The good news is that as opportunity opens up and you walk through that, you know, things will happen better than you've imagined possible. The challenge is, of course, it may not, and it probably won't come always in the old way or the same old way that we're used to. So what I'm trying to say is that in our personal lives and in the governments and in the world, structures are changing. Structures are reaching for greater clarity. Yeah. And that's clearly true politically. All right. So I'm just going to say a few words about Bernie and Hillary and all that. I happened to see after the endorsement was given, somebody posted that FDR had the same experience or done the same similar thing at his first convention, that he was basically required by the convention bylaws or rules to endorse the chosen nominee in order to be able to have his delegates at the convention. I mean, you know, here's what I want to say. I put Daniel Sheehan on my Facebook page. I'll talk about him. I put the